Welcome back to another College Football 25 breakdown match. This is from my online Dynasty League that I'm hosting for PlayStation 5 users. Ended up able to go the distance in our first season, going all the way to the National Championship, and we're going to be facing user Georgia. So, you guys wanted a breakdown, so here is another breakdown and give you guys a little insight of how I run stuff, how I go about reading defenses, just the whole nine. Now, of course, every single match, it's a different game plan going into it. For me, I don't really have game plans. I just go in and get like a learning curve of what you're going to end up doing if it's a copy and paste of you trying to do what other people are doing, which I'm used to. I know what I automatically got to do already, and or if you have a certain game plan, how am I going to go about it to get you outside of your game plan? So, like I said, there's a lot of stuff that goes into how I go about my matches, and of course, can't replicate what I do. Now, starting out this game, I end up just picking a run play, just seeing what my opponent does. A lot of people like to come out in the go-to formation, and that's automatically how you're going to go about playing your match. So, of course, he knows I'm going to run to the left, so he pulls out his players to position them in a better spot. This is one thing I never do myself. I never reposition my players. So, of course, he puts them outside. I hit the gap for just, simple, easy yardage. Now, he did cause a user strip fumble. Fortunately, I was able to get it back. It's crazy to see how many people I had right there to get the ball back. But, yeah, this is just, kind of getting the feel of what's going to be happening. Now, you guys just saw his first initial defense. What does he do the very next play? Shows me the same look. So now I know what he's going to start trying to do. Now, all pre-snap reads. This is just walking up to the line, once again figuring out who my opponent's going to try to use and what he's going to do right off the bat. So just off the first play, how his players reacted. Like I said, I'm looking at DBs. I can care less of how they're lined up because automatically you can see what they're going to end up doing. So he tries to disguise his defense in like cover three, but this is a cover one look because extra defender outside with my slot receiver, and then of course the right DB is a little bit closer to my tight end, so I automatically know right off the bat it's cover one disguised as a cover three coverage shell look. This is very hard to some people. A lot of people, automatically think it's a cover three. They can't tell if it's a cover one. So it's just a lot to intake, and this is just years of playing the game and getting used to how players are lined. Now, I got my best receiver lined up in the slot. I tend to move my receiver, especially if he's the best receiver, and of course my opponent knows that he's the best. I tend to line him up in all different positions. Slot receiver, inside, outside, just everywhere. Just to get my opponent thrown off based off every time he has to try to figure out where he's at, he's going to try to adjust. Now, I don't do too many adjustments. I just pick a play, go with it. I know what I'm automatically going to do because based off what my opponent does. So I have him in the slot right here. I picked a specific play for man beater because I know my opponent's going to be in man coverage. Watch what he does with the slot. He's going to try to manually guard him. Now, just for his little quick movement, I knew that I'm going to get him beat. And I knew what he was going to try to do. So that little movement, just bringing his guy down, trying to play him. I have like a flare streak. Look, he got beat. He wasn't able to press him. And look, that was his assignment. And he's wide open. This is the little details that I tell you guys, especially from the last video, that, it's simple things like this that I take quick reads about. So, he ends up going to kicking a field goal. So, next possession for me, I get down to 3rd and 8. So, right now, looking what he's going to be coming out. Of course, my opponent loves to run man. Just like I said, right off the first couple plays, I'm already able to tell what kind of player he is on defense. He loves to run man defense. Now, once again, I'm in 5 wide. I put Nick Harbor on the left side slot. So, of course, he's pressed. He's going to try to move people. He's going to try to manually move off the slot cornerback on the left, back him off, trying to let the CP play him a little bit better because he knows I'm going to put him on the streak. Now, thing is, he's going to use the left free safety and bring him down and have no help over top. Automatically, I know I have him beat. So, what happens? This is another thing that when people try to reposition players out of their assignment, they get reset. So this is another way how you can beat them, and this is all coming down to timing. So he moves them back. I go the quick snap because I know that the AI just automatically resets themselves, and when that happens, you have them beat automatically. Like if you're going to back up players, just manually back them up. Or, instead individual backup, just back up your whole coverage or play zone coverage. Don't try to manually move somebody because the other person's going to try to quick snap you if they're smart enough and good enough. And of course he's playing me, and look what happens. So I'm used to this because a lot of people try to do this and it's a routine thing. So I know that the DB is going to reset. So look at how he turns his body and gets reset. In realistic outcomes, there's no way in hell any DB can, run with a speedster going in a straight direction. There's no way in hell. So video games replicate this very well because in real time, you don't see this happening. So, of course, he takes his assignment to have help over top, so this was just an easy pass. So that was on his fault end. So at this point, it's like, yeah, I got this game in the bag because it's just easy based off what my opponent's doing, what he loves to do. So, right off the bat, pre-snap read, I'm going 5 wide. What does my opponent come out in? Just like how everybody else, they go off what everybody copies and pastes, the mid blitz nickel defense. So I end up just, flipping my offensive players, so it makes him have to scramble to see where my best receiver is at. Once again, I tend to move him around in different spots, like I said earlier. So I have him in the slot, I flip him from left to right, and he's going to stay in the slot. I end up just putting him on the streak because, once again, I picked the play for purposes of beating man coverage. If my primary receiver, which is my best receiver, is not open, I have a second check down and all that stuff because these are man beater routes. And what does my opponent do? He figures out where my best receiver is at. He tries to reposition his player, the slot DB, and look what happens. He clicks off. The DB is resetting himself to backpedal, and his front is facing my receiver that's in a completely, forward stride. So for him to try to turn around and make this play is not going to happen. Now, of course, I believe his DB had 98 speed. Mine has a 99 speed, but that's not going to matter because also my receiver has abilities, which is takeoff, so he's going to have an extra step over his DB, which you guys seen the ability kicked in right here. All I got to do is pass lead it. So I pass lead over top, money. Now, of course, if this was Madden, his guy would be able to ridiculously jump up, pick it off, or swat the ball. So I'm glad College Football 25 got away from that BS. Here's one key thing that, once again, a lot of people don't take into consideration, think about, take the time to look at the details. So you guys take a look at his line. He has like 3 dominant linemen, star players. I have one, I think is my D tackle, but he doesn't realize that I have an edge rushing linebacker that has like gold jumping ability, which is able to jump the snap. So I readjusted my linebacker to be an edge blitzer like Micah Parsons, put him on his, non-star lineman, and look what happened. You guys see the ability kick in. My left outside linebacker that I put at left end, he's able to just jump, bypass his non-ability lineman, and I got a lot of sacks this game. So I figured I'd just showcase, this happening. I think he had like 6 or 7 sacks. So my opponent really didn't adjust to this because he started out the game running the ball. He was trying to establish the run because his running back had a spin move cheese, and I got so good at, user tackling, he had to get away from it, so he had to start passing. And he didn't realize that I had a pass rusher because, of course, the star is not underneath him, and he didn't know that my linebacker was a great pass rusher. So this really threw him off his game plan, and of course he had to adjust. So there was a couple times where, he had to like slide protect or double team, and what I end up doing is trying to re-blitz to the left side because knowing that he's going to end up slide protecting, I can user fake blitz between his left guard and left tackle to try to pick me up, and then I'm going to have the opposite end get free and get a sack or disrupt the pass. So, this is one thing that I completely threw him off. He also doesn't have a mobile quarterback, and of course, he's unable to, get away from the quick pressure that I was sending. So this is another thing that, I take into consideration and throw at my opponents time to time. I don't do it every single play. I do it from time to time. Now, of course, his receiver, number 4 on the far left side, runs a hitch route. I had a cloud flat, so this is, like I said, the game's not made perfectly. You're going to have times where your coverages miss up. Now, he does have a flare route by his running back going out to the left, so for some odd reason, my DB, he would play the receiver, but, it's a cloud flat assignment. He plays a cloud. If he sees something in the fight, he's going to end up playing it, but the timing of the pass, my DB should have literally picked this off. So you guys are going to see it happen on the left side once again. Number 4 in my left side DB. Just watch how he reacts. And this is just the gameplay issue. So right there, just that quick assignment that he ends up redirecting himself, trying to play the running back. He gets beat and he ends up getting yardage. So eventually my opponent does score. Continuing on, getting myself down into the red zone. I'm running just a simple option play to the right. Now, of course, my opponent is in, once again, mid-blitz defense like everybody else runs. Now, of course, it's like a risk-reward doing this play, especially in goal line, doing the option. Now, I get a pulling guard for some odd reason in this play. My left guard pulls to the right, so it leaves the lefty tackle shooting through the gap. So it threw me off how quick this happened. So, when I pitched the ball, I panicked a little bit, but I had to pick the right pitch to make a successful pitch happen. So when that happens, all I gotta do is try to make a read based off his user pursuit, and you guys are going to see what happens here. As like I said, you gotta know when to hold turbo and not to click turbo, and then look at your user or your opponent's user on pursuit. So he's going over pursue, and all I gotta do is just simply cut up field. Look how simple that is. So I end up scoring off of it. So some of you guys probably recognize this formation. I've done it at the beginning of this video. My opponent still continues to show the same look. So it's the cover 3 disguise, but it's cover 1 defense. So I flipped it to the right side later on this game. Watch what my opponent does. He's still using free safety. He's going to acknowledge where my best receiver is at. He's going to go ahead and try to user him. This is when, I try to bait people using my best players to end up eventually opening up my other reads. So I'm going to have 2 routes that's going to be man beaters by both my tight ends. Now, I need a little bit of time. So right here, I end up throwing to my right tight end because I had him on a deep crosser route. But you guys see immediately my opponent's using against my best receiver. He didn't want to give up that big play. Now, because I saw the safety kind of going outside, I knew that I had inside leverage. Now on the backside, my tight end's running a double post route. So post corner to post route, he's going to get open as well. As you guys see on the left side, he's going to beat the DB by baiting him on the left side, cuts back inside. So I had 2 extra routes that's going to be open. So these are my checks because, once again, look what happened with my opponent's user. He's so focused on my best receiver. Now this was 4th and 10. Prior to getting to 4th and 10, I ended up getting 2 false start penalties because I had shoe clock on, and when I'm trying to make audibles, for some reason my guys just continuously jumps off sides, and it's so frustrating. Hopefully they fix that because it's literally an issue. But yeah, so I backed up. I knew I can get it, so that's why I ended up still converting 4th and 10 because basically I was just trying to run off the time at this point. I wasn't trying to run up the score, but of course I ended up scoring on the play. Later on, another 4th and 10 situation. I know I can get it with ease, so once again, making it simple pre-snap reads. So looking at his defense, how they're lined up, this can be possibly a cover 3 cloud over because you take a look at the right side. DB is pressed. The DB is on the left side is not. He disguises it as a cover 3, but it can also be a cover 1. So my first read is where he's user at, which is the free safety. I'm looking at my best receiver. He does get pressed inside, so this is pretty much like a cover 3, but he has in cover 1. He just put the 2 slot DBs into I believe a purple zone coverage, and then he's just going to use her over the middle of the field and in crossing routes, whatever the case may be. But look what happened at his man coverage up on triangle, which is my slot receiver on the left. My best receiver is just like as if he's moving him out of position, trying to back him off so he doesn't get beat deep. He ends up trying to come over after his slot DB presses him inside, and look what happens. He resets himself. Once again, just like the plays earlier, how I got used to the timing of how players reset themselves because, when I'm playing comp, people do the exact same thing. Now, he didn't manually move his guy to back him off. This was just done by the AI. So because that press threw off the route for my receiver just by doing a simple streak, the AI for him, he thought he was going to end up running like an in route or so it threw off his assignment to like completely just straight run with him. So he goes into a backpedal position and he's automatically beat. All I gotta do is do the timing passing that I'm so accustomed to because it's been a repetitive pass that I've been doing for such a long time since the game release. And not just for this game, but it also happened with years past in Madden. So it's 4th and 10. I'm going for that. I don't have any doubt that I'm going to stop him on defense, so that's why I'm going for him 4th and 10. Usually I'll punt, but it's 4th quarter. I'm just going to go with it. Try to make the game more interesting to see if he can actually stop me, which he can't. So end up having him beat, throwing a deep pass, and boom. You guys see it for yourself. End up beating him and end up scoring him on him. So I end up winning this game, of course. Didn't really have a challenge. I was expecting, more of a challenge, but it's just, the better person, based off game planning and all that stuff, is going to have the better outcome. Now, throughout the season, I kind of converted my recruiting ability coach to making players, gain XP or build upon the ratings. So it was more of a player development. So beginning of the season, my focus was on recruiting, trying to recruit, replicas of the players I already have. Because, guys, heading into next season, I got replicas, and you guys going to be hurting, trying to face me. So, give you guys a little insight on that. But we're going to be taking a look at some of the awards. I won a lot of awards for my players, so you guys are going to see that in a few moments. But I hope you guys really take these breakdown videos into consideration. Hopefully it can help you guys out, especially, the people that's in the league, and then give you guys a better understanding of when you guys possibly may face me. Now, like I said, you guys may think I abuse, like my best receiver based off speed and all that stuff. It's just for all baiting purposes. So throughout the season, a lot of people in the league seen how I was like destroying the computer by like 120 points or so. Um, like I said, this is the same outcome as I was facing the computer. It's all labbing for me because if I can pull this stuff off against a computer, I'm going to pull it off against a user match. It is stoppable. It's just how people go about it. But like I said, a lot of people copy and paste. And you guys just seen between last video against Texas, what did Texas user do? Done the same exact thing. Ran mid blitz, ran man coverage defense, leaving pretty much my guys one-on-one. So imagine my best receiver that you guys see now. I'm going to have 3 of them bad boys in next season because I found some hidden gems, replicas, and it's going to be crazier heading into next season. So I got some goons coming on to this team. So my receiver gets player of the year. I end up getting best head coach. We're going to also be covering off season in another video and things of that sort. I have best quarterback. You guys can pause the video, look at the awards for this first season for the Online Dynasty League. So once again, if you guys are interested in joining, as we're going to be heading into next season, I would need you guys to join now because we're heading into off season, and that's why I'm doing the preparation for the conference change. I'm going to split everybody into 2 separate conferences so everybody can have more user matches. As this first season, it was just pretty much a test and to see how the league runs, and so far it ran very, very well. So looking forward to next season. Hope you guys enjoyed this national championship. Next season I may not win it. Who knows? But until next time, I'll see you guys later. Let me know what you guys think. Once again, check out the link down below in the description to join the Discord for the league. And I'll see you guys next time. I'm out. Peace.